hot topic. Is it double standards for Dylan Gabriel or not? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. The Cleveland Browns just lost their game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the second game Dylan Gabriel has started without scoring a touchdown or leading the team to a touchdown. Is this a double standard? Honestly, I think it is, because if this was Shedeur, what they would have said, he can't play. Mind you, Dylan Gabriel, he went 29 for 52 and threw for 221 yards, no touchdowns. Looking at the stat line, people will say, well, that's solid. That ain't too bad. He threw short passes, because when you hear that stat line, when you throw the ball 52 times, you complete it for 29 times, and I have 221 yards, that literally means you're throwing the ball 5 to 7 yards a completion. You're throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. You're throwing a lot of screens. You're not throwing the ball downfield. So that's one. So in a way, they're trying to protect them and let him grow into the offense gradually. I get that. Young player, new to the league, obviously. But he's 26 years old. He's not 20 years old. He's not 22, not 23 years old. He's 26. So he's seen a lot of different defenses already. By the time you get to the NFL, the coverages is very redundant. It's just knowing other teams' strategies and their tendencies from week to week. And it's actually easier because most teams don't run a lot of multi-level defenses. But if they do run multi-level defenses, they only going to run a certain amount of plays in that particular package. So if a team plays a 3-4 defense, press cover 3, but so much they're going to run in press cover 3 if they do multi, if they go from 3-4 to 4-3 at the snap of the ball, depending on their personnel. And that's something that you do for practice week by week by getting ready. You know that they're going to do that. So this in particular, this is his second game. It's not getting any better, to be honest with you. And the fact that he didn't throw any picks, his stat line, again, is misleading. If you're watching the game, he threw literally about 5 picks. Pittsburgh just dropped it. Do it count? Of course not. But that doesn't make it a good game. You just got lucky that they didn't catch the ball. That's not a foundation as a team and as a quarterback that you want to lean on. Yeah, I didn't throw they dropped the pick, so I didn't throw picks. That's not something you want to lean on. You want to get better at what you want this young man to do. So honestly, like I said from jump, this is playing out exactly how I said it's going to be, how it's going to play out. Exactly. Deshaun Watson, he would never play for the Browns again. I don't care how healthy he's getting. He's supposed to get healthy. He's supposed to get healthy enough so that way they could trade his ass. When they signed Kenny Pickett is not going to be nobody's starter. What did they do? What did they do? Trade him. The only different thing that they did, instead of what I thought they was going to do, I didn't think they would trade Joe Flacco. I thought at some point they would bench Joe Flacco and have him and be there for their number 2. And then next year they would release him. So that way Dylan Gabriel could be the number 2. But I already knew they was going to give first shakes to Dylan Gabriel. I already knew it because they took him in the 3rd round. But I never seen an NFL team draft 2 quarterbacks in the same draft and they believe in the first quarterback. You don't draft 2 quarterbacks in any draft when you believe in the first quarterback that you drafted. And I don't care who caller was they bring in Shedeur, he's there. And at some point, he will play. But I guarantee you, if he put up this stat line that Dylan Gabriel's putting up, the NFL official people or whatever the case may be, the insiders, the analyzers, they would have been all over him. They would have been like, this kid can't play. Why is he here? He's only a 5th round pick. What do you expect from a 5th round pick? You got a third round pick who's been in college football for a better version of a decade, and still produces this product. Even if he's a new player, honestly, as a new quarterback, it makes it easier to operate because the defense don't have a clue on what your inks are as a quarterback. They don't have a clue on what you like to do, on where you like to drop your foot, where you like to really, for real, drop your 3-step, your 5, or your 7-step. They have no inkling yet on your inks of or where you like to throw your outs, where you like to throw the back shoulder throws. They don't know your inks yet. So it makes it easier for you to operate as a new quarterback. Why do you think when you see quarterbacks that do really well in their first year, they set it on fire? The second year, it gets tough. That terrible 2 get real because the team, they start learning your inks. They start learning when you like to throw the out routes and when or what hot routes you like to go to, or where when you break the pocket where you like to release. They start learning those things. So this product in itself from Dylan Gabriel, I don't care if it's his second game. I don't care. He hasn't looked great. The first game, he didn't look great. This game, he looks even worse. Granted, the team has to play better too. Granted, the offensive line has to block better. Granted, the skill guys have to be better. But I'm going to tell y'all something about football in the locker room. When you're a quarterback and you're throwing passes that your running backs, receivers, tight ends, when they stop believing that you could protect them while putting that ball in the air, guess what? That ball becomes a 50-50 ball for real. You put that ball in the air, yo, bro, I don't know what's about to happen like you don't know what's about to happen. Because I no longer trust you putting me in a situation or a place in the field where I can catch a pass from you, and it's already hard knock life out here on this field. And you're leading me into guys who can really hit, who are just as strong, just as fast, and they get paid on putting me down. It's not the same NFL as yesteryear, but it's still the NFL. So when you start throwing passes and your receivers, running backs, tight ends, they more fearful for the hit because you're putting them in direct harm's way. Guess what, bro? They not gonna rock with you. They not gonna run through the wall for you as a quarterback. So obviously, the only way you can build that chemistry is in practice. That's the only way you can rebuild that. But when they get to the next game, it's going to be god-awful. It's going to be 50-50. They got a game coming up this week. They should beat the Dolphins. They should beat the Dolphins. But I think this week is when Gabriel throws his first pick. Remember, I said that. And it's mainly because the receiver, tight end, running back don't believe that they're being put in a safe space going for his passes. Remember that I said that. So again, if this would have been Shedeur Sanders' stat line, what do you think these analyzers and analysts and all these special media people would be saying? He can't play. He can't do this. He can't do that. His arm is not this. His arm is not that. He's not smart enough. He's not accurate. He doesn't translate fast. He holds the ball too long. Meanwhile, Dylan Gabriel got sacked 6 times. And not one person said he holds the ball too long. Got sacked 6 times. So again, is it a double standard for Dylan Gabriel? Yes, I absolutely agree with that. Shout out to Dope, Baker Mayfield. Yeah. Baker Mayfield is a great example. When Baker Mayfield was with the Browns, he looked borderline mediocre. if not mediocre. He goes to the Rams, see the tutelage of Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, goes to Tampa Bay, and he's balling out. He's an MVP candidate. If you'd have asked me 2 years ago about Baker Mayfield, I said he's on his way out the league. I believe I said that, matter of fact. I said he's on his way out the league. The Bucs is just going to take him for the year that they could get him, and they're going to draft somebody the very next year because he's on his way out the league, the way he looked in Cleveland. He went to get the proper tutelage, and look how the difference made. On the Bucs, he looks like an MVP candidate. So what do that say about Cleveland? Now, Johnny Manziel's a different beast in itself, but Johnny Manziel had talent. Regardless of how committed he was, regardless of how disciplined that he was, he still had talent. So going to the right situation as a quarterback matters most. But if anybody that could survive there, anybody that could thrive there, I honestly believe it is Shedeur. I honestly believe that. But again, this would be a different story, different way that they would spin this if this was Shedeur having this stat line, if this was Shedeur playing 2 games without scoring any touchdowns. I don't know what to tell what happened, but with Baker Mayfield, he's like that now. He's like that. He's like night and day of a difference in his play. Facts. First rounder, Texas Tech. I remember Baker Mayfield back when he was with Texas Tech, but he was a walk-on, and they had made mention that he was a walk-on, and he walked into the team and took the starting guy's spot. And the guy's spot that he took was actually a solid player the year before. They're going over to Oklahoma. So again, it matters. Organizations matter. But is Dylan Gabriel getting different treatment? Yes. Yes. And there's nothing that I've seen Dylan Gabriel do that make me feel that he was ever better than Shedeur. People forget Shedeur won best quarterback of the league in college last year. He won the Johnny Unitas Award. People forget that. So when somebody say, what has he done? He won best quarterback. What are you talking about? Now we in the NFL, and I said this will play out the way it's supposed to. I said that Dylan Gabriel is a backup. I didn't say he couldn't play in the league. I said he's not a starter. He's going to be a backup. And he could give you some solid years being somebody's backup. He's already 26. He spent majority of his 20s in college. He spent a better half of the decade in college. And he still looked the way he looked. It will be a complete different narrative if Shedeur was at Colorado this year and next year, and then to come out in the draft, go 3rd round, and then look like this. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Have to make mention of this. And this is also a question. Why do some women still find the need to over-sexualize themselves on social media if they're not selling meow meow? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Why do some women still find the need to over-sexualize themselves on social media if they're not selling meow meow? I have to say that like that because y'all know how it is, the guideline